we are talking about integrity, so I want to kind of pull us in. Joe, I was talking to you the other day about this, and listing appointments are so important. But I've heard it said before that integrity, you've got to have integrity in numbers.
Sure.
Like, people need to have integrity. You got to have integrity, but like the numbers have to like mean something.
Absolutely.
I mean, when you're going on a listing, how do you make sure that people understand what you're telling them? Because there's people that'll show up and tell you the house is worth $1 million or whatever to get
the listing.
To get the listing, right? Yeah. But in all actuality, it's going to sell closer to like 9, or maybe the house is worth $500,000, and you've got a guy that comes in and says, "Well, I can sell for $525." You know, how do you explain to people that?
Yeah, great point, and it's very common. Of course, seller always thinks their property's worth more than what it might be.
Sure.
Most common, And you go in and you have to show them the facts of, hey, this is what it's worth, and it doesn't mean somebody's not willing to pay that, but at the end of the day, if you come in there and you just tell them what they want to hear, you're doing a disservice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you want the business, but it's not worth the business if you're doing it the wrong way.
Right.
And that's what ends up happening quite frequently is you're so excited about the opportunity to get the business, and you get excited because the person is holding the keys to your business and going, here's what I want. And the quick answer is, okay. Mm-hmm. As opposed to saying, well, here's why it's worth this. And so you do have to have integrity in your numbers because, quite frankly, it's going to be a problem down the road if you don't.
I mean, you're going to come back.
It's like sweeping a lie. You're going to lie again
it's
and
got to
again.
be a tough market, too, because the price point means so much, at least in my experience. And I've had the unfortunate opportunity to sell homes in terrible markets, and then I've got the fortunate opportunity. If you go back the last 10 years prior to a year or two ago, it was an incredible market. So I probably didn't even need you in half the ones up there.
That's right.
So, right. Since COVID, holy crap, has shot through the roof here.
Well, but then it's really slowed down.
Yeah.
And so I think that's right. Nailing the price, I think right now is like it's kind of convincing, or at least being able to impress upon your client that the price point out the gate probably means more today than it has ever meant.
Absolutely does, which is why, you can all get on the big Z and look at his estimate, and we all have an idea what we think it might be worth. But in most cases, coming in and actually evaluating the home and telling them the truth, not what they want to hear, is it means the world.
Well, the guy that did Zestimate, didn't he sell his house for less money than
like
what his Zestimate said?
13% off.
I mean, Zillow or whatever?
Yeah, and you're talking
13% off of whatever Zillow's Zestimate said.
Exactly, which is real dollars.
Yeah.
These people are, in most cases, if it's a home, if it's residential real estate, they're invested, and they know their kids grew up. They have a different sense of what it's worth.
Yeah.
And
there's an emotional value to it as well. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I do think it's important. Same reason why if it's an investment property, you can't come in and say the numbers are this if they're not. It's like telling somebody that you're going to have 100% occupancy. There's no such thing.
Yeah. No, there's not.
You're going to have an air conditioning break. You're going to have things that happen in the course of a.
I had 2 air conditioners this week. Are you telling? You know how much an air conditioner costs now? Sorry, not to get on inflation, but holy cow!
Yeah,
it is more than a car. It is incredible what an air conditioner costs. Had to fix 2 this week, brand new at the buildings. Didn't see that one coming.
Especially
you never do.
Big expense,
Didn't see that coming.
No.
Yeah.
Well, and if you try to tell someone that and go, hey, you ought to rent this property, or you ought to, whatever, you have to, label out those costs sometimes and tell people the truth. This is what it's going to cost you.
Yeah.
Just right off the bat.
Yeah.
And I think it's important when you're listing properties, like you asked, specifically.
For sure.
Get that price right.
Right now,
for sure.
More than ever. You're right, because it is if people want to sell their house, they got to listen to the agent.
Yeah.
Because the agent does a ton of work behind the scenes you don't see getting that number. There's a lot that goes into your profession.
Well, it's also a disservice.
Finding that number.
It's a disservice to you as an agent if you're not hitting the price right.
That's right.
Correct?
Exactly
because it's your business. Like
you're
you're an
gonna spend
independent contractor.
your
You're
money,
spend
your time, your effort,
your effort,
and it's not going to
so.
sell. And you're going to
really going to waste a lot.
You don't get paid until the deal is done.
So you're footing the bill for photography, videos, any marketing material. Yeah, you got to pay that.
Not just that, but you're also going to have a conversation every few days about why you overpriced this home.
Yeah,
right.
And then a good real estate agent, which in most transactions there's 2, someone representing a buyer. Pretty quickly they'll identify this isn't worth this, or it's not going to appraise, or it's not going to, the value's not there.
Going to blame you.
Yeah, well, and then of course the appraiser will ask you too. Where did you come up with this?
Where'd you come up with this?
Yeah,
plan?
I mean, and if you don't have some facts, then you just.
And a lot of people trying to get listings, like especially new realtors, I'll do whatever you want.
That's exactly right. Because you just want your sign.
Yeah, they just want to get the listing so they can get their cut. They don't care if they sell it or not, right?
It's a short-term strategy, yeah.
It is.
It's not a long-term business strategy.
Exactly. And it typically doesn't work out.
Nope.
That's what I have honesty written down by integrity. So
Yeah.
you got to be honest with them. That's one of the main factors.
And most people want to hear that when they invite you into their home. They want to hear your opinion because they are expecting that you know something about what you're doing.
Yeah.
So when you come in and tell them the truth, it makes a world of difference. Same reason why you don't come in there and tell somebody, because people always say, hey, if I remodel my kitchen, will it help my house sell? Well, of course. Yeah.
Duh.
It'll be new and nice looking, and
Right.
people will like that.
Right.
But I can't sit there and tell you to spend $75,000 remodeling your kitchen.
Are you going to get that back?
Nah.
Maybe not.
Maybe.
Maybe not.
Depends on the economy.
Depends on the
Depends on what you do to it.
The
Right.
comparables.
Yeah.
There's so many things, but you need somebody that can give you that advice, knows the economy you're in, knows the market you're in, and can leverage that. When you're dealing with a new agent, maybe, and we've talked about this before too, but when you're dealing with a new agent, how do you express to them? And really, I throw this out to everybody because all of us have worked with people or know people, or maybe young people, or we've led different businesses, our own businesses. When you have that new person or new employee, how do you get them to be, especially in a sales world like real estate, how do you get them to be authentic in who they are? So have integrity in who they are, because you want to be known. A good name means something, right?
Absolutely.
And so you want to be known that.
Oh, you got your name.
Yeah. What's funny is Jackson, when he first started driving, he was 15, driving. I've now trained 3 people. I've got my third one driving. So I've trained 3 humans to eat. And 3 humans to talk.
Back the car into the garage or something recently?
Look, she did not do that. She did back a golf cart though one time into the garage. But I've got 3 of them trained as drivers, which is a crazy thing. Look, and congrats to all you parents that have done it as well, because every time I step back into it, my nerves get shot again.
It is really rough.
I'm now on the 3rd one. She'll be 16 coming up soon, and when she started at 15, I immediately I was
tense up. Yeah.
And I'm like, I should be a pro at this. This is my 3rd one doing it, but it gets you every time.
We pray every
right?
time they leave the driveway. We pray watch out for this kid.
Bring him back safe.
Bring him back safe.
So Jackson, though, 15, you don't realize he's the first one I trained. So I had to teach him how to get gas. I didn't think about it, just being able to pull up and get gas. And then there was this time we wanted to pull into Chick-fil-A, and I was like, hey, we're going to order chicken, number 1, whatever. That's my number 1 extra pickles. So I love Chick-fil-A, super good food. But we're pulling into the drive-thru. They come on, but he stops. He stops before we get to the speaker. Because this is back when they didn't have the people
board,
coming out, and all. So
the iPads.
So we pull up to
Pre-COVID.
but he stops because I didn't realize he had never been trained to go through drive. He didn't know what to do, and so he all of a sudden gets nervous. Like, I need to write the orders down. I need to get it all right. We pull up to the now again. He obviously, I hope he doesn't do that continually now. I mean, I'm sure he's pro at drive-thrus. We pull up to the drive-thru, and he's 15. He's got that his voice still kind of changing, so he's talking a little higher, and he gets to the drive-thru, and they're like, hey, welcome to Chick-fil-A. Next thing you know, he's like, oh yes, I would like to order, and I'm like, who's Barry Manilow?
DJ
show up?
40-year-old son.
Straight into radio voice, and I'm just so. But you've got to be authentic, right?
Yeah.
You want to be your authentic yourself. And I get it. Jackson, I think, was trying to sound like an adult and, whatnot. But you got to be your authentic self. So how do you, what do you say to a new person in business? Maybe a new agent, but
just in
young people out there today.
Well, I think people see through it pretty quick. If you come in and you tell, again, back to what I said about telling people what they want to hear, they know, and especially, let's call it real estate, but in most cases you're dealing with a homeowner. It's usually not somebody who it's their first rodeo. They own a home, so they've been through this process before at some point. Now they might remember it, or they may be older than you or whatever the case. But I think it's, to new people, you're so excited about the opportunity for the business that you want to connect. And I think, connecting is super important with the person, which is why you spend time. Because some people go in there with their mission at, I need to get this paperwork signed. That means I have business. I'm going to be able to, sell this house one day and make a commission and move on down the road. I kind of take the opposite approach. I have a long listing of conversations. It's awkward because when I come in, we usually end up having a conversation less about, the house, but more about the
Right.
process and things like that.
Right.
And that's what I encourage the young people or new agents to do is, meet the people. The people
Yeah.
are the thing,
Yeah, yeah.
not the lead. It's not a piece of paper. It's a person. And if you go in and you can make a connection, and sometimes you don't. At the end of the day, they might not be interested in that. They're strictly business, or they're very set on what they're doing, and they're going to interview 3 agents, and that can be
Right.
intimidating. Because you think,
Right.
I just need to be better than the next one. That's not always the case. You just need to connect.